I've got the latest figures for average income in the United States by age. Overall, the median male earned $60,000 as seen here, while the median female earned around $45,000. The average male earned $84,000, while the average female earned $61,000. I'll give a breakdown of median and average throughout the course of this video. And just so we're all on the same page, when I'm talking about median and average, here are the definitions I'll be using in this video, and then I'll go by age range and age bracket through the rest of this video. For those of you curious, Social Security, average man will earn about $28,000 per year. The average woman will earn around $21,000. And on average, about half of baby boomers who have retired recently are individuals over 50 years old. About half earn under $30,000 a year, as you can see here from this analysis from Business Insider. Of course, for those of you more curious about net worth, I'll also give a quick breakdown. The median wealth in the United States, including primary residence, is around $192,000. Again, the average net worth skewed in the United States. Average net worth or wealth. Average net worth is going to be assets minus liabilities to get your net worth. I'll also give you a free net worth calculator in the links below in the video description for those of you if you want to estimate your net worth. Again, median net worth is $192,000 and average net worth is closer to $1.1 million in the United States. That does include primary residence in this case. I'll give you a link below for those of you who are curious about net worth, not including primary residence. You can help me improve these videos by letting me know about you in the listening audience. So drop a comment right here to let me know, do you make more than the US median for your age? And if you want to share, what is your average annual salary? All figures reflected in this video are gross or before tax and reflective of the United States. And question number 2, please drop a comment. Do you make more than the US average for your age? Again, you can also share your salary, gross, before tax for comparison, and please share your age if you're willing to do so. I'll tailor future videos to you in the listening audience. For those who want a more detailed breakdown, here is your average salary by age in the United States. Now, keep in mind that this was pulled from the U.S. Census Bureau, so these figures are going to be a little bit lower, but you can see here reflected your median average salary as well as the top 10% and the top 1% in the United States. I'll also drop a link below for those of you who want the top 5%. I pulled that in another infographic. And so when we look at this information from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, these figures are going to be a little bit higher because this is reflective of working adults in the United States. So by nature, the individuals shown here in this data are either part-time or full-time workers. So the median salary reflected here is going to be higher, and this is pulled from the U.S. Census Bureau. There's another source, or excuse me, this one's actually pulled from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, and there's also another source that includes the median salary by education, and I'll show you that here. In July of 2025, the Hill pulled down the most recent available at that time Bureau of Labor Statistics data for median income in the United States and their story for what's the average salary in the U.S. So as you can see here, the annual salary for 16 and 19-year-olds is about $33,000. Now keep in mind that this is working adults in the United States reflected in this age range, and that is median salary before taxes all the way up to 65 years old with an annual salary of $64,000 or about $64,000. And again, I also summarize that for you here in this infographic. I like the story from the Hill because it also has average salary by education level. They call it average, but it's actually reflective of the median salary. So for grade school education, as you can see here, the median salary is around $39,000, and for an advanced degree up to $101,000 shown here. Using that same data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, there's also another infographic created by Visual Capitalists, which you can see here. These figures are going to be a little bit different and a little bit higher because it was pulled in July of 2025 and doesn't account for gender or educational attainment. I'll blow that up for you here. And that same information is charted for you here. So now that we've got the basics out of the way, it might be helpful to go by infographics and demographics, if you will. So here's the breakdown I'll use in this video. By way of reminder, when we're looking at the total population, the median male earned 60,000, the median female earned 45,000. Here's my definitions for average and median, with median being in the middle and, in my opinion, a better representation of the typical American experience. But people tend to ask about these other outliers. So the average man earns around 84,000 and the average woman earns around 61,000. For those of you interested, here's also a breakdown of median and average household income in the United States, with median income in the United States being around 80,000 and average household income in the United States jumping to around 114,000. Keep in mind this represents head of household, and a household may include multiple individuals, but a household can also be one individual if that is the head of household, reflected in the ages here. And the U.S. Department of Justice, shown here, also drops median family income adjusted each year. Here is their latest report for median income in the United States based by one earner or multiple earners based on your family size. And you can see that information here, as well as find your state for household, again, gross income in the United States, median income reflected here. For the purposes of this video, I'll break down the remaining chapters like this: teenagers, ages 16 to 19, young adults 20 to 24, adults 25 to 34. They called it established or working professionals, typically from 35 to 44. Most individuals' peak earning years are going to be between 34 and 54. And guaranteed, most peak earning years are around 45 to 54 for most Americans in the United States. And when we look at peak salaries and we want to break that down by gender, women on average reach their peak earning years around age 44 at an average of 66,000, and men reach their peak earning years around age 55 with an average earning of around 101,000, according to this most recent study from PayScale. However, that does vary even further by whether a man is single or married. A lot of men wrote in and asked for that breakdown, which I did in a full video, which you can find in the video description below. And here's a quick rundown of what that looks like here. According to the latest data from the CDC and the Census Bureau, so this includes all men. So this is going to reflect men working part-time and full-time, as well as those individuals who have not had a job for the full year. So these figures are a little bit lower, but the median man earned 60,000. The average man earned 84,000. According to that same data from the CDC for women, the average woman earned 61,000 and the median woman earned 45,000. When we break that down by gender and marital status, two studies from the Federal Reserve found that married men on average make more income than any of the other demographic study, as shown here for the 2018 study, and shown again here for their 2020 study from the Federal Reserve. Additionally, this was reinforced in 2025 when CBS News found that married men still are out earning individuals across all ages, and this tends to be because married men work more hours than any of the other demographics studied. Keeping in mind, however, that most individuals are marrying later. On average, men marry around age 30, with women marrying around age 28. And marriage rates, as well as marrying older, marriage rates have been going down in the United States, and they have risen a little bit recently since the pandemic, but they reached their lowest level at 46.8% in 2022. In fact, about 57% of Americans ages 18 to 49 no longer plan to have children, and about a quarter of Americans, a new record high, are unmarried by age 40 or plan not to marry at all. So this is having so those both will continue to have an impact on income and average income in the United States. A quick rundown again: the median man earned 60,000, the median woman earned 45,000, the average male earned 84,000, the average woman earned 61,000. Median household income in the United States was 80,000. Average household income in the United States was 114,000 for individuals ages 55 or in retirement or pre-retirement. For individuals in retirement or pulling down Social Security, their median earnings were $28,000 for men, and women earned around $21,000 in Social Security benefits, keeping in mind that in total, about half of Americans over age 50 will earn about $30,000 or less across the United States. And when it comes to net worth, if we include primary residents, the median wealth in the United States is around $192,000. Average wealth in the United States is about $1.1 million. When we break that down further by marital status for the men who wrote in with those comments, the average single male has a median salary, this is working men in the United States, of $48,000 and an average salary of $68,000. As I said earlier, married men make the most in the United States. They tend to also work the most hours with an average salary of, or peak salary of, around $86,000. That peak salary usually occurring around age 48 or higher. For a simple baseline, because the cost of living varies so much across the United States, here's how much $100,000 would look like after taxes in your state, or how much you would need to earn gross in your state to net a pay of $100,000, which you can find here. And here's a breakdown of household income in the United States, keeping in mind that these figures, the most recent figures made available, by the way, is from 2022 from the Federal Reserve.